things have always been changing. After the revival services in the upstairs of the Skinner Drug Store, some people from that original group wanted to have a permanent church. So land was purchased and a building was built here on the corner of Oak and Grant Street. There were 48 members of that original group, and they made many sacrifices in order to be able to buy this land and build this building. Pledges were made for $1, $2, $4, $5, $10, and $61 was raised in order to buy the materials to build this building. When I think about the personal sacrifices that those original members had to make to build this building, how they were simple people. They didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of means, but they gave as generously as they could. And for some, that meant giving $1. For others, they could do $2. Some were able to give $4. Some were able to give $5. Some even $10. But together, they pulled the money together that was needed to build this church. When I think of that, it reminds me of the people of God in the Old Testament and how it tells us in 1 Chronicles chapter 29 how David had a vision for building a temple for the Lord. And he was so inspired by this vision that he gave out of his own personal wealth, gold and silver and iron and bronze and precious stones to build the temple. And that inspired the leaders of the families in Israel, and they too gave generously and sacrificially all that they could to build the temple. And it says that they gave willingly, and then when the temple was completed, they rejoiced greatly at what God had done. And I can't help but think that the people here who gave all that they could and made the sacrifices that they made rejoiced greatly on January 1st, 1880, when this church was dedicated. I'm here in the original sanctuary, which is now our Student Ministry Center. You know, our church building has always been changing to better position itself to fulfill our mission to reach the lost here in Cedar Springs and the surrounding areas. The very first space here didn't have electricity and plumbing. Then in 1923, they remodeled the sanctuary and the steeple was added. In the mid-1950s, the sanctuary was turned completely around and the entrance was enlarged. They put the pulpit on the west end of the room instead of the south end, and all of this helped open up a lot more seating area to welcome our neighbors and invite our guests. In 1972 and 73, the fellowship hall was added. A Christian education wing was added in 1999, and in 2006, our new sanctuary and addition was dedicated almost 10 years ago now. Things change fast, from the revival in the Skinner Drug Store, to purchasing the land here at Oak and Grant Street, to dedicating the building, to the generations of remodeling. From that little plain, unadorned building to what we have today, we've been faithfully making the changes and sacrifices necessary to be a church for the unchurched.
My soul